think baseball's in the stone age right now as far as technology goes. You watch basketball, you watch football, you can even watch golf. There's people that have called in during golf tournaments and blown the whistle on somebody that did something wrong. And they were penalized for that. Baseball has the opportunity to get up with the rest of the sports in my mind by just allowing instant replay to be a part of it. I think the most frustrating thing for me as a fan now is to sit and watch a game on TV and you can clearly see that the umpire has blown a call and there's no recourse. If they chose to use instant replay and not just on a home run, but and I'm drawing a blank right now, but the guy that threw the so-called almost perfect game
for the Tigers,
right. That was the very last out of the game. You tell me that they couldn't have gone to the review board or the instant replay and got that right, they would have saved the umpire a lot of grief. The guy would have got his perfect game, and everybody would have been happy. That, for me, should have been the turning point as far as technology in baseball.
Do you see it? Would you have liked it back when you played? I mean, would that have been something that you would have probably,
Well, if they would have had technology, sure. I mean, why not use it? Everybody wants to get the results. They want to get the calls right, and you want to get credit for what you did. I can tell you stories about guys hitting home runs that everybody would stand there and watch it go foul or fair. When I was with the Angels, Doug Rader, we went through a series in Baltimore where they beat us, I think, 3 consecutive nights on controversial home runs. Was it fair or foul? A base hit, was it fair or foul? And if they would have had instant replay, it would have been cut and dried. We would have known for sure. But I think Doug Rader was ready to go berserk when we left Baltimore, and it was all because of that.
We talked about the Hall of Fame briefly. Are there guys out there that should be in the Hall of Fame that make you mad that aren't in there because, and I always say these snooty baseball writers think they're better than everybody else, they should be putting a lot of these guys into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does there one come to mind?
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose? Oh, really? Why is that?
Because I think Pete Rose, as a player, if he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, there shouldn't be a Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
I mean, he's the all-time hits leader. For whatever discretion he might have had at the end of his career, betting on baseball, blah, 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 as a baseball player, he's a Hall of Famer. If you put him in the Hall of Fame and choose not to let him back in the game in any capacity, for me, that's the answer. If you want to discipline him, great, discipline him. But he is a true Hall of Fame baseball player.
Do you think he gets in at some point?
I think when he dies, they'll put him in. I don't think they'll give him the satisfaction of putting him in while he's still alive. Just my opinion.
There's a guy on the air with us right now ranked 6th all time in home runs for catchers.
Yeah, how about
How
that?
about that?
You can start a little campaign. I didn't even make it past the first ballot.
8-time also. What are you doing in Nashville? I know you're retired and everything. What are you doing here? How did you get here?
My wife and I just decided to get out of Southern California. I'm a Southern California guy, and we were both raised out there and raised our kids out there, even though all of my kids were born in Michigan. But, we would always go back to California in the off-season. We just decided to pull up and head out, try to slow things down a little bit, find some place that we really like. Honestly, this was the first place we were going to stop on a semi-longer list of places to check out around the country.
Yeah.
This is as far as we got.
Wow. What were the other candidates?
Well, we were going to go down to Florida and Texas and, move around. I was, even though because I played a lot in the Michigan, Detroit area, we were going to go up there, but it's just a little too chilly there in the winter time. So.
8-time All-Star, spent a lot of time up in Detroit for the Tigers. He is Lance Parrish, becoming a regular fixture here in Wendy's First Quarter, hopefully. We love having you on. I want to get your thoughts about the age of guys having impacts in the pros. I'm saying pros specifically because we're talking about guys like Andrew Luck, RG3, Russell Wilson, but that also brings me to names like Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, guys that coming into the league. I mean, there's a lot of expectation and responsibility put on these guys. Is it too early to have franchises be put on the backs of such youth?
Well, I, in some regards, yes. In other regards, no. I mean, Andrew Luck, RG3, those are the faces of your franchise, and they were designated that as soon as they were drafted out of college. You give a guy a starting role on a professional football team as a quarterback, that's a huge responsibility. And you expect results, and you expect a lot of things right out of the game. And they both performed admirably, I will say that. And I'm very impressed with the way they interview and the way they talk and how they know so much about the game and life. And I'm just very impressed by them. The baseball guys, when I came up through baseball, it was always when your first year, it didn't matter how good you were, just kept your mouth shut, And the veterans were the ones that ran the show, and they would let you know when you could talk or when you could do this or that. The game has changed in that regard. You've got guys coming up now that have been highly touted in the minor leagues, and they're the next whoever, making their debut on stage, and they get so much coverage, press coverage, and there's so much heaped on their backs. Bryce Harper coming out of college, he was, I couldn't believe his numbers, number one.
Right.
I thought, wow, is this guy for real or what? And then he got in the minor leagues and did well, and bringing him up to the major leagues, he's done very well. But he's got a long way to go to prove that he is the type of player that everybody projects him to be.
All right, some rapid fire questions for you.
There we go.
These are good. I think you know the answer to this one, but your favorite sports moment of all time is?
Winning the World Series in 1984. That was pretty huge.
Who's the first person you hugged when you get the final out?
Well, I ran out to the mound, and Willie Hernandez and I were jumping around in circles, so yeah.
Where's your World Series ring now?
It's in my safe at home. I'm not a big jewelry guy, so I don't,
Who did you idolize growing up?
Baseball player? I was a big Johnny Bench fan, so he had a lot to do with the way I patterned myself behind the plate and the things that I did. So.
You have someone else in mind? Sounds like you want to say somebody else.
Well,
from a different sport.
Not really. Joe Namath. I'm a big football guy too as well. So Joe Namath, and I guess I was attracted to him because he's out of Pennsylvania, which I was born in Pennsylvania. My family's from Pennsylvania originally, so I just kind of attached myself to him.
Were you ever starstruck playing Major League Baseball?
I think one time I had the opportunity to meet Ted Williams.
Ooh.
After we won the World Series, it afforded a few of us the opportunity to do a banquet up in the New England area. And Ted Williams was one of the featured guys there.
Wow. And
when he walked in the room, you'd have thought, God Almighty. There was a hush over the crowd, and I looked at him like, oh my God, it's Ted Williams.
Yeah, he's frozen out in Arizona.
And he'll be frozen in Arizona forever.
That's right. All right, was there one pitcher you faced who you thought, I'm not going up there?
I'll be honest with you. A right-handed pitcher against a right-handed hitter is, and if they have really dominating stuff, can be a little, frustrating and a little, I guess eerie. But Randy Johnson, when I faced him, a 6'10" guy, even though he's left-handed, it seemed like he was throwing the ball from halfway between the mound and the home plate. So I could never catch up to Randy Johnson.
Your nickname, the Big Wheel? How'd you get that?
Actually, Mel Allen gave me that name. We were, there's a story behind it, and I don't want to take up too much time, but, as a team, we were hot during one year. Mel Allen and This Week in Baseball featured our team. He started the segment by saying the wheels of the Motor City are turning. Obviously, it was in Detroit, and I was pretty hot at the time, so he dubbed me the Big Wheel. And the Big Wheel was, they showed some highlights. So we were all sitting around in the clubhouse watching this on TV. So as soon as he said the Big Wheel, that was it. Nobody would let that go. So I just became the Big Wheel.
Excellent.
Did you ever call for a hit batter?
I wanted to.
Well, how about this as a story? I listened to R.A. Dickey last night at the Celebrity Fatherhood.
Okay.
And he told this story about Carlos Delgado, how he could never get ahead on Carlos Delgado. So instead of trying to strike him out, he told him when they were actually spent some time in another league, hey, listen, when we rotate back, I'm going to hit you, okay? So don't take offense to it. I'm just telling you right now, I've got problems with you. You seem to be taking everything I'm throwing against you outside the park here, so I'm going to hit you. So you know what he told him? Carlos Delgado told him, hit me in the butt. And that's where he hit him. For 3 times he got up to bat, 3 times he hit him, put him on base.
Well, but the knuckleball, it's just like, boom, You ever catch a knuckleball?
We had a guy in AAA a long time ago, 100 years, and he was a relief pitcher of all things. They'd bring him in with guys on third base, and I'm thinking, is this the right time to do this?
It's like,
it was like, what?
8-time All-Star Lance Parrish with us this morning here, and thanks for coming by, Lance. And we're going to get you, as Brad mentioned, a regular on this thing. Great stuff. Hey, when we come back, Davis Snowden, Channel 2, is going to tell us what's up outside and inside right now. And Vince Gill, the Invincible Picking segment, every Friday morning right here. We're live in the Game Den, Piscatty's great food. Hang out with us. Wendy's First Quarter, 102.5 The Game, ESPN Radio Nashville.